Welcome to the Season 3 premiere of the Brash Sports Podcast, brought to you by Shits and Giggles. Is life beating you down? Need a break from the mundane? Give Shits and Giggles a try. A partnership you can rely on, Shits and Giggles teamed up many moons ago to ensure that when life is at its toughest, you can always opt for the lighter side of things. And when you do, be sure to use promo code BRASH25 to save an additional 10%. Shits and Giggles, the opposite of giggles and shits. Brandon, welcome back. It's officially Season 3. We have so much to dive into, man. It's been a long break. How have you been, man? What have you been up to?
I am feeling great, buddy. I am ready to get started on this new season.
Beautiful.
It's finally here. The wait is over. And I know the anticipation's been killing you because it's been killing me, buddy. But
oh, dude, I'm
we got
so
an exciting
excited.
season plan.
I'm so excited to get back in here and fuck around. And our listeners, too, our thousands and thousands of listeners have been up my ass. Like, hey, when are you guys coming back? We need to hear your voices. We need to hear the podcast. We want your takes on things. So I'm excited for them as well, because they're going to see this episode drop and just be just over the moon excited. I know the trailer got them all amped up, and now they're ready for the real deal.
Trailer was a good idea. I'm happy our media team or advertising team put that together, which, well, let's just say it's us, okay? Because there's been some adjustments here at Brash Studios. The entire staff, they're on strike. They are not here helping us out. And frankly, at this point, we don't think we need them.
No.
We're gonna do this ourselves. We are officially running all aspects of everything Brash. So who knows? It might end up being for the best, right?
Yeah. When everybody said, hey, the writers and actors are on strike in Hollywood, we're gonna join them, I was like, you guys aren't writers or actors. You don't do any of those things. But it's good to let him go. Now, Cindy was a surprise. I thought Cindy would stick around. She loves looking at resumes all day long. She had a pretty sweet gig because resumes would just pour in. She'd look over them. We paid her like minimum wage, but she was happy with it because she loved her job so much. So I was surprised to see her go. But fuck them. We don't need them. I feel like we've been doing a better job without everybody that we had behind the scenes. Sure, we got to work a little more. We probably can't take as many vacations like we did last year, but yeah, fuck them. We're going to do great without everybody, without the entire support team behind us. We're going to do phenomenal.
And I like Cindy as well, and it's a shame that she's not here, but part of me also feels like she was holding us back a little bit.
No HR means we can get away with a lot more. And she gave us a pretty long leash, but now we can really push the boundaries.
We're going to hit that full potential in Season 3. So here we go.
We're going to hit a lot of things.
So let's go ahead and get to today's starting lineup, Josh. Of course, we're going to bust open that Brash Sports page. As always, get things kicked off here. We are going to review our official NFL predictions that we made shortly following the Super Bowl of the past season. We will, of course, touch on the NFL kickoff for Thursday night football, give a little preview and a little parlay, because come on,
gotta have the parlay.
Gotta have a parlay for the season premiere. And of course, we got to end things with the Brash official world rankings. That's right. We're not stopping. Now, just because we have NFL football to talk about does not mean we don't have time to get into those world rankings. And today, the world rankings will be the top 5 things that we love about the season of fall.
Yeah, and it's not just things we love. It's the without question, the best things about fall, right? We're the authority on this. We are ranking these things officially for the world, and the world needs us to. The world needs these rankings. So we're just going to rank them. We're going to throw it out there, and everyone's just going to have to deal with it.
Our opinions are your opinions, whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, that's just the way it is. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe.
All right, let's do it. Let's get right into the Brash Sports page, Josh. Of course, first and foremost, first in line is the NFL season. It's officially back. Football is back. I know we have college football starting this Labor Day weekend. I mean, I start a little bit earlier, but come on, NFL, That steals all the headlines. So I figured we'd talk a little recap about the notable signings and holdouts during the offseason. We're probably going to be leaving some out. Just
Oh,
deal
we're
with it. We
leaving
can't get
so
to
much
all
out.
of them. Yeah. But the notable ones that we had come up with on our list, starting with your New York Football Giants and their star running back in Saquon Barkley. He was holding out there for a while. You were probably sweating, thinking like, oh no, is he really going to take the year off? And think the Giants would have still done all right without him, but he is a huge piece of that offense. He ends up signing a 1-year, $11 million deal. So no more holdout for Saquon Barkley. I'm sure you're pretty happy about that.
Yeah, and the way they did it, he wasn't happy with the franchise tag, so they let it basically expire, sign him to a 1-year deal with a ton of incentives, which is probably, I think that's going to be the model moving forward as more and more running backs feel like they're underpaid. They're going to get paid with a lot of bonuses and incentives built into their contracts. So kudos to the Giants and that new front office that we got that's just been kicking ass. Yeah, I am excited. He's our number one weapon. We got to have him.
Another star running back in the NFL that had that franchise tag slapped on his ass. I don't know why Vegas did that. That was inappropriate. They should have just said, hey, franchise tag. But the extra pat on the ass, not
It's Vegas.
necessary.
They can get away with it.
He did not take kindly to that one bit. He was also threatening a holdout, but here we go. The way of the future, it looks like, for these star running backs, a 1-year, $12 million deal for Josh Jacobs. So luckily for those Raiders fans, they don't have to worry about missing out on Josh Jacobs because, let's face it, he is the Raiders offense.
Wow.
So they absolutely needed.
Don't sell Devontae Adams short, man. He's still a top 3 wide receiver, in my opinion. But yes, they need Josh Jacobs, 100%.
Still think Josh Jacobs is the Raiders offense. I love me some Devontae Adams, but come on. He's the bell cow over there, Mr. Jacobs. But Chris Jones for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's a holdout. And there's no talks or whispers of any contract extension from what I hear. Looks like he's just going to be sitting out, at least for the beginning of the season. So we'll see how long that lasts. But no deal in place for Mr. Chris Jones.
Yeah, if Josh Jacobs is the Raiders offense, then Chris Jones is the Chiefs defense. They need that guy back in a bad way. So I don't know. I'm a little worried about, spoiler alert, but anyone who listened last season knows that I picked the Chiefs to run it back. They need Chris Jones to do that, in my opinion. So we'll see how it turns out.
All signs pointing to the Chiefs being without Chris Jones for that season opener against Detroit at Arrowhead. Jonathan Taylor, the star running back for the Indianapolis Colts. He is, of course, yet another holdout, no new deal in place. He was granted permission by the team to seek a trade. You and I discussed that when that news broke. It highly unlikely, especially at this stage, this close to the beginning of the season, that a team would give up too much to not only bring in Jonathan Taylor, but then have to immediately sign him to a ridiculous contract extension of 3 to 4 years. So he'll likely, it looks like, if I had to put my money on it, I think we won't be seeing any Jonathan Taylor this season.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think it's probably 50-50 in my mind. But it's interesting what's happening with that because the Colts are demanding, I think, a first-round pick for him. And no team is willing to give that up. And so he's like, okay, pay me like a first round pick then. And everyone's like, no, we're not going to do that. So he's like tethered by his own demands and the Colts demands. It's a really messy situation. I don't know how that's going to play out, but it could get ugly. But I still think it's 50-50 because eventually people are going to have to go, all right, well, $10 million a year, whatever his contract is still better than zero. So I'll go with it.
Yeah, that one surprises me a bit. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the guy had that one stellar season, right? And, he doesn't, in my book, have enough clout to be holding out. Not enough clout to hold out. That's what they say.
That is
That's
what
the
they
old
say.
saying. So, that one surprises me. I think it's not a smart move by him and his whoever his agent is that probably recommended that he make that move. It's, that one might backfire. He's going to look a little silly if he's missing out an entire year in his very young career. And for these running backs these days, not a guarantee they're going to be in the NFL too long. So you
No.
don't want to waste these years with those fresh legs. Mike Evans, this one is worth noting because he has been such a star receiver for the Tampa Bay Bucks in recent years. He has demanded a new deal before the season opener, not holding out, but basically giving them the ultimatum that if a new deal is not reached before they kick off this season, that he will not be renewing a contract with them next season. So different approach. I actually think that's a more professional way of handling it.
Totally.
I will play out my contract that I signed the dotted line on. But I'm just letting you know right now that if you don't sign me now, then see you later after this season.
Yeah, what a sad state of affairs in the NFL that it's like newsworthy that a guy has that approach. You know what? I will play this contract out. A contract that I signed and knew very well what was entailed in it. Like any other aspect of life, you can't just sign a contract and then go, and second thought. On second thought, I don't want to buy this house. On second thought, yeah, whatever. NFL players get away with it all the time, and it's newsworthy when
Spoiled,
one just goes, "Yeah, I'll play it out."
it's spoiled, rotten professional athletes in general.
Very true. You're right.
Now, to
It's
be
not
fair,
limited to the NFL.
you very, very rarely see this in the soccer world. Just saying. I know there's a lot of soccer haters in this country, but you don't see them holding out. And, that's not even really a term in the soccer world. Like, you sign a contract, you play it, or you just, get moved to another team.
Right.
I mean, you don't not play. But yeah, I know it's a shame because, I mean, again, what a good life to have, getting paid millions of dollars to play a sport and then being such a whiny little bitch about it.
Yeah.
Let's get some preseason headlines / injury news, Josh. Von Miller, it looks like he's expected to miss at least the first 4 games of this upcoming season. He's still recovering from ACL surgery. Big loss there. I don't know. I mean, I feel a little bad for the Bills.
I'm worried about them Bills.
I am. The closer we get to the season, I'm a little worried about those Bills too. Chase Young, I mean, I guess we had to note this one. He's uncertain for the opener. I think I speak for all Redskins Nation out there, and I say not a surprise. He's now recovering from a stinger. I love it when you hear about these stingers that he got in practice. He played only 3 games last season following that ACL surgery the offseason prior. And those were the last 3 games of the year. And he didn't put up a lot of numbers. I mean, I think with the 3 games combined, he had like 4 tackles and 0 sacks. So, not at least speak for myself as a Redskins fan. I don't expect too much out of Chase Young this season. I hope he proves me wrong and ends up being a big part of that defense, but we shall see.
I didn't realize he played so little last year. I guess I just hadn't noticed.
I honestly had to look it up because
wow.
I was under the assumption he didn't. I forgot that we brought him back at the end of the season. Okay. And I think the reason I did is because by then had already been eliminated from playoff contention. And I was, when I read it, I was like, oh, that's right. Because I was asking, what in the hell are they doing? He's already been out this long. Well, what's the point of bringing him back for the last 3 games if we're not playing for anything? But I don't know. Buzzard's going to buzz. Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp, he is questionable now for week 1. He is still recovering from a hamstring injury that he suffered August 1st, I think it was. And they were still in training camp,
Yeah,
right?
they were in training camp. It was, sometime in August.
Yeah, so early August. And he recently re-aggravated that injury. So we'll see if we see Cooper Kupp on the field week 1. My prediction is that we absolutely will. No sources behind that. That's just my own
that
little gut feeling.
Just that gut speaking up.
And another preseason headline. This is a big
Big
one.
one.
Get ready. The Redskins ended the Baltimore Ravens preseason streak. This big deal. I mean, the entire world was talking about it. It all came down to a Joey Sly 49-yard field goal in the final seconds of the second preseason game to end that Baltimore Ravens historic 24-game win streak. So I'm glad that we could put an end to that. I did predict this going into the game. I said they're having a Monday night football game in preseason, and the Ravens have a 24-game win streak going on. We're absolutely going to end that. Because if there's one thing you can rely on the Redskins to do, it's to end streaks. They hate it when other teams have streaks. The last team you want to see on the field when you are holding on to a streak is the Washington Redskins.
Right. God forbid they start a streak of their own. So they just kill everybody else's.
That's not going to happen. Yeah. Our streak, we have a streak going of ending streaks.
This is the only streak you guys seem to care about.
We now have, I think we're on a three-game streak of ending streaks.
Nice.
So with the Steelers, the Eagles, and now that preseason, sorry-ass preseason streak.
The streak. I like that.
Messi, he arrived in the United States, and he absolutely took the country by storm over the summer. Surprise, surprise, come on. I mean, the man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT has tallied an astounding 11 goals and 3 assists since joining Inter Milan July 21st.
Inter Miami.
We're gonna leave that in.
Yeah,
we'll leave that in because that's understandable. Yeah. I just I was like kind of looking at my notes and looking back, and I just saw Inter, and naturally Inter Milan came out. But
of course,
yeah, of course, Inter Milan, as we all know, not based out of America.
It would be very weird if that was in Miami. It would be very weird.
Definitely Inter Miami. It's just weird saying Inter Miami. I think that's a pretty lame name anyway. Nothing beats DC United. That's the best one, but they can't all be winners, can they? So yeah, Miami definitely heavy favorites now to take the MLS Cup as well. They should be. Messi, the man doesn't age. Doesn't age. He still looks exactly the same as he looked like 15 years ago. So
yeah, it helps playing. It helps playing in the MLS to look a lot younger as an international superstar.
I knew you'd probably throw that out there. You know, for the record, if you looked at those 11 goals that he has scored since joining the squad, vast majority of them have not been tap-ins.
No, I agree.
They've been excellent strikes. Some from distance. I mean, they weren't gimmies, is what I'm saying. You know, so he they were highlight reel type goals.
Oh, absolutely. I watched the only one that I watched was, or live, I should say, was the very first game. I think it was against Philadelphia or something, but it was that free kick in like the 91st minute or something from way out, and he just buried it, just firecracker in the upper 90, fucking beautiful. And I was like, holy shit, Messi is here. So it's been very cool to watch. I'm excited for it.
That's what he do.
That's what he do.
I understand you had a headline you wanted to talk about here, Josh, in the golf.
Yeah,
world.
I mean, I was just
going on in the world of golf.
Well, during the summer months when there's really no good sports on, golf takes up a good amount of my attention. I really enjoy watching it. I like playing it, but I never play. I'm terrible at golf, but I love watching it. And recently, it was the Ryder Cup team was announced, and I just had some thoughts because Justin Thomas got the nod, and he's been fucking awful for the last like 4 or 5 months. He missed the FedEx playoffs, everything. He's been terrible, and there were a lot of worthy guys that should have gotten the nod that didn't. And I just wanted to gripe about it. I wanted the world to know how I felt about it. Zach Johnson, who's the captain, if we lose this Ryder Cup because of his pick of Justin Thomas, which is not based on merit, but based on the fact that he's just boys with everybody, then he needs to step down. We got to get a new captain in there. The Ryder Cup's a big deal. They only do it every 2 years. It's USA versus the world. It's an amazing tournament, but the fact that Keegan Bradley, Tony Finau, Cam Young, like those guys didn't get the nod, and Justin Thomas, who wasn't even in the FedEx Cup playoffs, did, is really, really sad. So I hope they I hope they win. Obviously, the tournament's next month, but if we lose and Justin Thomas has a really bad showing, Zach Johnson needs to step down.
You thought about putting any money on it? Have you checked out the odds for the Ryder Cup?
No,
Or
I haven't
not quite yet.
I have not yet.
Oh, but you will.
I'll bet
You
on
will.
USA though, because I'm going to be rooting for USA. Obviously, we still have the best golfer in the world, and I think our team is stacked. I mean, Europe's is really good too. Victor Hovland has been on fire, and he's Norwegian, so he's on the world squad. But yeah, I always love USA's chances in the Ryder Cup.
All right. Well, we're going to move from soccer to golf to, of course, our favorite topic here at Brash Sports. We are going to give you a full, extensive update of standings, predictions when it comes to everything Major League Baseball. Set aside 20 minutes for this segment. You will not want to miss this.
I tried to keep it together. I just can't. I cannot keep it together when we talk about baseball. So moving on.
All right. So that is our baseball coverage right there for you here at Brash Sports. We're going to move right in to our football talk. We're going to brush people up on the predictions that you and I made post Super Bowl. And I was looking over these recently, and my goodness. I mean, I knew, they're supposed to be bold predictions.
Right.
So mine were extremely bold. I'm already out of the 4, 0 for 2. But again, you got to go out on a limb sometimes. Fortunately, it's not like I was putting any money down on these predictions. Right. But we made these back on February 18th as part of our post Super Bowl recording, wrapping a bow on last year's NFL season. I guess I'll just run through mine real quick. I had Bezos, Mr. Jeff Bezos, buying the Washington Commanders and promising to bring the team back to DC during his opening press conference or introductory press conference. And of course, not only did Bezos not buy the team, the Josh Harris group did, which actually I prefer. It seems like this Josh Harris guy, for a billionaire, he seems like a pretty chill dude. And I think that actually worked out for the best. But he also, it was a 2-parter. I was thinking maybe Josh Harris would do the same thing and promise to move the team back to the district when he was introduced as the new majority owner, and that he did not. So there goes that one. I had the Green Bay Packers releasing Aaron Rodgers prior to the draft. That did not happen. Nope. He ended up getting moved over, or traded rather, to the New York Jets. And that happened post-draft, correct?
Yeah, it was shortly after the draft.
Yeah. These two still very much in play, still very, very bold. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I have them reaching the AFC Championship this upcoming season. Reaching the AFC Championship game, that is. Don't have them winning it, just reaching it.
Okay.
And staying in the AFC, I have Joe Burrow, the stud quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, winning the MVP and eclipsing 45 touchdown passes this season. So those I still feel pretty good about because they have not been proven wrong yet. And then we'll go to our Super Bowl predictions after you go through your 4.
Yeah. So mine, I was reading through them when I threw them in here, and they seemed a lot bolder back in February. I feel like a few of these were takes that nobody had, and now a lot of people have, but we'll just get into it. My first one was that the Broncos would make the playoffs. Sean Payton would be coach of the year, and Russell Wilson would be the comeback player of the year. Still feel okay about it. I don't love them to make the playoffs, but they certainly have a chance. Number 2, which is a ice cold take at this point, the Lions would win the NFC North. Now this one's kind of hot. Jared Goff, an MVP finalist, and puts up huge numbers this season. Number 3, again, kind of cold. Jaguars number 1 seed in the AFC. Trevor Lawrence, hot take, MVP. Number 4, Jets win the AFC West with a new quarterback. Let's do a little ding there. Oh wait, AFC East. Sorry. But they did get the new quarterback, so that's a slight win for me. And I do have the Bills struggling to make the wild card, and Sean McDermott getting fired after an early playoff exit. I still feel pretty good about that. Um, I just don't see the Bills being that great this year. I'm down on them, but we'll get more into that later. And then number 5, again, I thought was a really hot take, a really bold prediction back in February that the Cardinals would finish with the worst record in the NFL and then draft Caleb Williams and cut ties with Kyler Murray. But now that's pretty much everybody thinks that's going to happen, including Vegas odd makers, because the Cardinals have the lowest win total in terms of over under for the season. So I guess I was just ahead of the curve. I don't know. I don't recall anybody saying that the Cardinals would be the worst team in the NFL all the way back the week after the Super Bowl. So maybe I was just ahead of the curve. Maybe I don't know. I knew something was up.
I think a bold prediction at this point would be saying that any of the other 31 teams in the league would have a worse record than the Arizona Cardinals.
Right.
When all is said and done.
Yeah, I can't think of a team that's, I mean, maybe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall apart. I could see them being awful with Baker Mayfield, but their division's so weak that they can probably squeak a few games just in that division. So I don't know. The Bucs and the Cardinals to me are like the bottom feeders. I think every other team has a chance to be competitive.
Even the Texans?
Oh yeah, even the Texans for sure. I'm kind of high on the Texans this year.
Yeah, no, I think they could surprise people. I like D'Amico Ryans. Super Bowl picks.
Right.
We did make our way to early Super Bowl picks immediately following this past Super Bowl. I did not go out on a limb because I did that before and I looked absolutely silly. So after wiping the egg off my face, I decided to go with something a little bit more understandable. I have the surprise, Cincinnati Bengals winning the AFC. And I have, unfortunately, yet again, the Philadelphia Eagles representing the National Football Conference. I have the Bengals defeating the Eagles. That's right. Philly losing back-to-back Super Bowls. And I have a final score of 31-27 for those Bengals finally winning their first Super Bowl.
Yeah, I could absolutely see that happening. And if you ain't first, you're last. So seeing the Eagles get to the Super Bowl, as long as they don't win it, they lose. That is all right with me. So I love that prediction. Mine, maybe even just a weaker take than yours. I had the Chiefs defeating the 49ers 27-23. I do think the Chiefs are going to run it back. I love their team. They had, I think, 9 rookies starting last year, and those guys are only going to get better. So give me the Chiefs to run it back. Give me the Niners to go through the NFC. Give me Mahomes as the Super Bowl MVP, and then give me Andy Reid to retire on top of the mountaintop after another Super Bowl win back to back. That's probably might be the hottest take because I really don't think there's any chance of him doing that. But
no,
if he does, you heard it here first.
Yeah, the way Andy Reid would look at us, let's do it again.
Yeah,
3 in a row.
No, 3 in a row. No, he'll probably coach until Mahomes retires, and then he'll retire with him.
That'd be a solid move. All right. Well, that just about wraps up our recap of our bold predictions from the end, or I guess the middle of last season following last year's Super Bowl. So now we're going to just have a little fun. We're going to go through the over-under win totals for the entire NFL. We're going to run through it. Not going to take too much time here.
All of these are pulled directly from like an aggregate of gambling sites. They might be a little bit different, and they're all roughly around even money. So all these totals you can find pretty much anywhere, and we're going to run through very quickly and just get over under totals so we can kind of reflect back and look at the end of the season about how awful we did or how great we did. So first up, we're going to go to the AFC East with the Buffalo Bills at 10.5 wins. You got over or under?
That's a tough one. I know I still have Bills being a little disappointing, but I'm going over.
Okay.
I got them at 11 wins.
I'm taking the under there. I think they're right around 9 or 10. Next up, the Jets at 9.5.
I'm going to go over.
Oh, okay.
Because they're so good at these numbers, man. 9.5. I have them at like 10, around 10 wins. So
right. Same. I think they get to like 10 or 11. Also, I think the Bills and Jets comes down to like the last week of the year. Next up, Dolphins 9.5.
Under.
Yeah. A lot of people are high on the Dolphins this year. I just, without Tua being a sure thing, makes me too nervous to go over. And then Patriots 7.5.
Under.
Yeah, same. They're gonna be bad. Gonna be a bad.
They're gonna be terrible.
AFC, staying in the AFC, going to the North, which I think is probably the most competitive division in football. Brandon, we got the Bengals at 11.5. Should I just hit that O button or
go? You know it. Yeah. You know to go with that O.
Yeah, this one was probably the toughest for me to think about. I'm actually gonna go under here, only because this division is so stout. Getting 12 wins is gonna be very tough for any of these teams. Next up, Ravens 9.5.
You know what? I'm going under.
Ooh.
Going under.
I actually like over for the Ravens this year. I'm high on those weapons that they brought in. Okay. Next up, we got the Browns at 9.5.
Under.
Yeah, this is an under. Even though I do think they'll be better than last year, they have a ceiling, and their ceiling is 500. So they're at 8, 9, 9, 18. And then next up, we've got the Steelers at 9.
I'm going over.
Dude, I like that, man. I'm going to go over as well.
Ooh,
they are sneaky good. I really like them this year. So very good. But I think like those three teams are all going to be within 2 or 3 games of each other all season. It's going to be a very fun division to watch. But anyway, let's move to the AFC South. Starting off with the Jacksonville Jaguars at 10 wins.
Go over 10.
Yeah, this to me is the easiest. If you're going to bet any of these, bet the Jacksonville over. They are going to get 6 wins in their division without blinking. They can easily get 4 more. So that's the easiest bet to make. Next up, Titans 7.5.
Going under. I'm not high on the Titans this season.
Yeah, I'm bailing on the Titans. I'm under as well. Next up, Colts 6.5.
Under on the Colts.
Me too. They can't get it done. And then the Texans 6.5.
And I have the Texans surprisingly going over that. And possibly getting the 7 or 8 wins.
Complete agreement for the entire division for the AFC South for us. We're both high on the Jags, high on the Texans, low on the Titans, low on the Colts. But yeah, Texans are going to surprise some people and get to like 7 or 8 wins. I love that. Next up, AFC West. Starting off with your future Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs at 11.5 wins.
Your future Super Bowl.
No, champs. Everybody's. No, it's not just pick. I'm just announcing it that they are. You can crown them now.
It's a done deal.
Yeah,
okay,
that's right.
I do have them over 11.5.
Yeah, that's over. That is an over. Next up, we've got the Chargers at 9.5.
I gotta go over with the Chargers. I'm high on the Chargers this season.
As am I. Next up, Broncos 8.5.
Man, that's a toughie. That is a toughie. I'm still gonna go under. I know everyone's high on Sean Payton. I have not bought in, and I think he's gonna have to eat a nice slice of humble pie because that guy's been talking a lot of shit recently.
Ooh,
so.
Has he? That should have made the headlines. I want to hear.
He talks a little smack.
I want to hear some Sean Payton smack talk. I like that. No, I think it's an over. I think Russell Wilson figures it out. I think the issue that they had was Nathaniel Hackett, and he couldn't hack it, so he's gone. He's with the Jets. So I think that was their biggest issue. So give me over. Raiders 6.5.
I'm going over on 6.5. I just think that's unfair to have 6.5 for the Raiders. I give them more credit.
That is
you're going under.
That is a big old under. Big old under for the Raiders.
Not high on Vegas, I see.
No, I'm not. I think it's just tough, man. The AFC is so competitive. You really got to stand out to make it. And they just don't. Josh McDaniels sucks as a head coach. Jimmy Garoppolo is mediocre at best. I like their weapons, but otherwise, no, I'm not high on them. Moving to the NFC, starting with the NFC Beast. Brandon, Eagles, 11.5. You got over or under?
I'm going over. I think Eagles are just easily the best team in the conference.
Yeah. I don't think it's particularly close. They're very good.
Shame.
It sucks to say, but when you got the best O-line and the best D-line and you have the best quarterback in the conference, you're just going to win a lot of games.
Yep.
Next up, Cowboys at 10.
Definitely under. And I'm not just saying that as a Skins fan. I'm saying that because I think they're going to have a miserable season, and the fans at the end of this year will be calling for Jerry Jones to sell the fucking team.
Yeah.
Give me the under 10 wins.
I'm going to take the under as well, but I could easily see that being a push. If it's 10 on the dot, I could see them getting to 10 wins, but I think 9 is very likely. Kellen Moore is going to be a huge part of that. They just let him go to Los Angeles Chargers, and they're going to miss him tremendously. Mike McCarthy's calling your plays now. Okay, good luck with that. You can barely fucking manage timeouts. You're going to have him calling plays. Good luck. Next up, the most important pick of the year, the New York Giants at 7.5. Brandon, what do you got?
I'm going over. I see them winning 1 in 7 games. There you go.
It's got to be over. It's got to be over. I need them to go over. I could, and also if the line is 7, what type of fan would I be if I said under 7.5 wins? It would be terrible. We won a playoff game last year. We've gotten better in the offseason. How is that an under?
I don't know.
Anywho,
it's a weird
Redskins, second most important pick of the year. 6.5 is your line. What are you thinking, B?
Yeah, I have to say over.
You have to.
Because I absolutely have to. I know we have questions at the quarterback position. We got an unproven guy. There's technically a rookie because, he started the 1 game last season. But I have confidence in our defense and our wide receiving core and our running backs. And the biggest question for me will be our offensive line. But I think they'll be surprisingly improved from last year. And the Redskins will be competitive this year. So give me over 6.5.
Okay. I like that. I like the confidence. If Sam Howell can stay upright, I think you guys can win some games. Your defense is great. But I'm worried about that offensive line with basically a rookie quarterback. Even though Sam Howell did look really good in the preseason.
Can't take too much from
it, but he did look great. I'm just worried about him not being on his ass. So I'm going to go under 6.5 wins there. NFC North. Right now we've got the Lions at 9.5. Basically, Vegas is favoring them to win the division. So Lions 9.5. What you got, B?
I got them over 9.5.
I totally agree. That is an over all day. Next up, Vikings 8.5.
I think it's Lions and Vikings battling all year for this division. I got them over 8.5.
I agree. Now, the Vikings did win a lot of close games last year, so
they did.
That's what they're kind of like 11 games or within 1 point. So, there could be a lot of swing there, but they're still really good. Their defense is ass. That's probably your worst defense in the NFL, not the goddamn Broncos. But, dude, when you have those weapons, when you got Justin Jefferson, you're getting over 8.5 wins. I'm sorry. Next up, Packers, 7.5.
That's tough, man. I want to believe that, for Jordan Love's sake, that they're going to be over that. I'm going to say under. I'm going to say they get 7 wins.
I am in total agreement. I think it is exactly 7 that they get. Next up, Bears, 7.5.
I just have no confidence in Chicago at all. I'm going under 7.5. People are really high on Fields, and I like Fields, but they're just Bears as a whole going under 7.5.
I actually like the Bears. I'm going to go over that 7.5 number. Dude, when you look at that, there's receivers. They have an elite wide receiver group. And Justin Fields is going to be probably running for his life, but he'll find open guys. I think the Bears are going to be sneaky this year. But I don't think they're a playoff team, but I think they're at least like 500, 8-9, 9-8, somewhere in there. Next up, NFC South. Maybe the best division in football. Starting off with the New Orleans Saints at 9.5.
Oh my God. One of these teams is going to make the playoffs by default.
Yes.
So under 9.5 for the Saints.
I'm going under as well, but I think they win that.
Probably at 9.
Yeah, I think they win
9.
the division at 9-8. So, but that's still under 9.5. So,
spoiler alert.
Spoiler. Falcons 8.5.
Man, I'm pretty sure when we made our predictions after the Super Bowl, when we picked our division winners, I quite confident that I picked the Falcons, but I don't know, man. The offseason's changed me. I'm under 8.5 for the Falcons. I'm jumping off the Falcons bandwagon. I know.
I'm under as well. There's a lot of hype behind them right now. A lot of people are high on the Falcons. I don't see it. I just can't. Who are they doing? What are they doing at quarterback? That's the big question there. Panthers 7.5.
Under. NFC South, man, they're the best.
I'm under as well. It's brutal because I like the Panthers defense at home, but on the road they suck. I don't know what Bryce Young is going to be. They got rid of all their playmakers. I don't know. They're under though. That's brutal that it's been 6 unders in a row from us for the NFC South. Next up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 6.5. What do we got?
Clean sweep, under all the way, buddy. Sorry, NFC South.
Agree. It is a full row of unders for the NFC South. I think the team with the best chance of breaking that is the Saints, in my opinion. Derek Carr could blow it up, but dude, that's brutal to have fucking 8 unders. That sucks. NFC South, get your life together. And then finally, the NFC West. Right now, we've got the 49ers leading the pack with 10.5. Do you got the over or the under, B?
You have the 49ers winning the NFC this season. The 49ers finished off extremely strong last year, especially having gone through a number of different quarterbacks, finding the hidden gem in Brock Purdy. Mm-hmm. Can they continue that magic? They do arguably have the best defense in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Give me the under of 10.5 for an extremely unprecedented, disappointing season for the 49ers.
I like that. Yeah. There's your hot take, dude. Add that to your bold predictions. I love them this year, dude. Obviously, they haven't done anything to make me think that they won't go all the way.
I'd imagine 95% of the country would say over on that.
Yeah, that's fair.
That'd be my guess.
That's fair. Next up, Seahawks with 9.
Over.
Yeah, same.
I like the Seahawks.
I like them a lot as well. Are they your division winner then?
Dude, I don't know. I think it'll be a 3-dog race in this division, in all honesty.
So I'm guessing
a little tight.
I'm guessing Rams 6.5 then. I should go ahead and hit that over for you.
I got a bounce back year for the Rams. Wow. Everyone's counting them out. Everyone, myself, has said that Stafford probably should have retired. But I don't know, man. I have this weird feeling that we'll see a resurgence of the LA Rams in the NFC. So give me over 6.5.
I'm going under here. I think that
that's understandable. They were pretty bad last year.
They were pretty bad last year. And the reasons that they were bad, I don't think that they've gotten better. And that the main one is the offensive line. Their offensive line is trash. So Matt Stafford's an old dude. He needs time to throw. I'm not very high on the Rams this year. And then last but not least, your lowest point total option is the Cardinals at 4.5. What do you got?
Can we do under 2.5? Is that an option?
Yeah, dude, you can.
Give me the under.
Yeah, I'm under as well. Mainly because they're going to be tanking. It is clear to me that they do not want to win games. They probably
no interest.
I think any team in the NFL has enough talent to win 4 games. They're not going to want to. So
no.
Why would I ever go over that? There you have it. That is your 2023 NFL over/under season-long predictions. I like that, dude. A lot of disagreement there. It's going to make for
Yep.
good content at the end of the season when we look back on this.
Thursday night NFL kickoff, Josh. It is time to break down the Detroit Lions versus the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. Of course, the spread has the Chiefs as your favorite at -6.5. Got the over/under currently sitting at 54.5 of these two dominant offenses. You wrote opened at 51.5. What? I mean, my stupid brain. What exactly were you saying there? What is that?
When the spreads dropped, like when Vegas opened the game up to be bet on, it opened at
Okay.
51.5. And what that tells me is that enough people saw that were betting the over like crazy that Vegas had to move that line up. The lines shift all the time. Usually it's because if it starts too low and people just bet the shit out of it, they'll raise it so that they kind of even it out.
Okay. All right. Your money line with the Kansas City Chiefs currently sitting at a -292, and your Detroit Lions at a +235. I mean, that's understandable when you're talking about the Detroit Lions, who in my lifetime, I can't remember them ever kicking off an NFL season. So this is a big deal for them. And they're going up against, of course, your defending Super Bowl champions in their house. Going to be a tall task for these Lions. The quarterback for the Chiefs, of course, the one and only Pat Mahomes, led the league in passing last season with 5,250 yards. Jared Goff, he was tied for fifth in passing touchdowns at 29. And the Lions O-line surprisingly only allowed 24 sacks last season, which ranked second in the league. Chiefs, they are averaging 37.8 points per game in week one since the Mahomes era began in 2018. And they're 5-0 in those games, of course, winning by an average of 13 points. I wanted to look up Andy Reid's season opener career record, and of course I failed to do so prior to us sitting down for the show. So shame on me for not doing a little more homework, because I'm sure whatever it is, it's really good.
Yeah.
Andy Reid's been in the league since he's been a head coach since what was it, 99?
Something like that. As long as I can remember, like really watching football, he was the coach of the Eagles, and
Yeah.
it sucked because he was a great coach, obviously. So yeah,
So let's just say 20, let's say 24, 25 seasons as a head coach.
probably that's a fair number.
I bet you season openers, he has less than 5 losses. That would be my guess. I bet you Andy Reid's just dominant in season openers in general. The guy's great off of a bye week.
I was
So
gonna
off
say
of an off season, come on.
right. If you treat the offseason as a bye, yeah, he's unbelievable. So yeah, it's got to be a crazy record. Looking it up, it's his 11th season with the Chiefs. Da-da-da. Wow, he was with the Eagles 99. You called it.
There we go,
99
buddy.
to 2012.
All right, so now let's make our predictions for Thursday night's kickoff, unless you had something else you wanted to get to.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
I think the stats kind of speak for themselves where my head is at.
I mean, I didn't really think too much into the final score for this one, but I do feel like it's going to be back and forth. It's going to be fun for the neutral NFL fan because there's going to be a lot of points put on the board. And I think we're going to see a lot of really fun passing touchdowns also. So, I'm going to go. I'm going to go Chiefs. Man, this is crazy when you write it down. I got Chiefs 38, Lions 33.
Wow. Talk about some fireworks. I love that.
That's how you kick off the season right there.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about score. I obviously have the Chiefs. I'm probably going to bet the Chiefs spread as a solo bet. I'm definitely betting the over. I love the over in this game. I will do final score Chiefs 33, Lions 24.
Okay.
But
Open.
high on the Lions this year, man. This is just what a shitty time to, have your first season opener coming into Arrowhead against the Super Bowl champs that don't lose week 1. Oof. That's just a tough spot, but they're resilient. They'll bounce back. They'll have a good year, but this is not their week. The Chiefs are going to dominate.
That brings us to, of course, our brash parlay, because this week we are doing all Thursday night NFL kickoff for our parlay. So let's get to it. Brash parlay. Here we go.
Brash parlay. Let's get this cash.
And friendly reminder, the last time we did a single game NFL parlay, it was for the Super Bowl and it cashed. So,
It did.
not going to toot our own horns, but we're kind of good at this. But starting off, I think the easiest bet would be Chiefs money line. I just don't see any way that they're losing this game. The more I talk it up, the more I feel like I'm jinxing them, and it feels worse and worse. But dude, look at the record, the history, 5 in a row with Mahomes. They're going to win this game. I don't know how it's going to play out, but give me the Chiefs money line. Love it. That lock it up in a parlay.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We did this one as a group, so I guess we'll just go back and forth here. We also, of course, as previously mentioned, I think about 3 times before we got to the parlays, that we're taking the over 54.5 total points scored. So Chiefs money line and the over of 54.5. This was done through FanDuel, by the way, this week. We have moved away, at least temporarily, from Barstool. So just for those following along.
Yeah, not a sponsor, but just
No
in case
sponsors at
anyone's
all.
curious, FanDuel,
Yeah.
if you want to sponsor an episode, we're more than happy to take that call. Next up, we've got Mahomes. I love him to have a monster game. He's been waiting all offseason to just drop some bombs. So over 305.5 passing yards. Lock that up. I love that one. That one feels like a surefire hit to me.
No, I of course I love that one. As good as the Lions offense is, they do tend to allow a lot of passing yards and a lot of points in general. So
Yeah,
I'm in complete agreement with Mahomes over 305.5, but I went the other direction with Jared Goff. I got him under 256.5. And I did do a little research on that when I saw that last season he went under 256 at least 10 times in the regular season. And I'm not necessarily high on the Chiefs secondary, but I'm not low. I think they're decent.
Yeah.
So with all that said, and the season opener, everyone's going to be so fired up at Arrowhead. Give me the under for Goff getting under 256.5 passing yards.
No, that's a really great bet. Though now that I've had some time to really think about it, like, because you think high scoring game. Oh, well, why would you bet an under for quarterback passing? With if Chris Jones is out and controlling the crowd noise, the number one way to do that is to hand the ball off. And Detroit's rushing attack is legit. Like, Dave Montgomery's a proven back. They got the young kid, Jahmyr Gibbs. I actually like that a lot. I think they could do some damage on the ground. Just as a little side bet, away from the parlay, would make a lot of sense to do some rushing props as well for this game. But sticking to the parlay, Mahomes' number one guy, the guy who's just going to be dropping touchdowns all year long, is Travis Kelce. He's going to get 2 this game. He's going to get 2 touchdowns. So Travis Kelce, 2 touchdowns, throw it in the parlay, boost those odds. Because I think, what was it, like plus 350 or something like that? Jam it in there. He's good for him. He's going to get them in a high scoring game like this. I don't see any reason why you shouldn't bet that. I'll probably bet it as a single as well.
Yeah, no, I love that pick. And in fact, if somebody put a gun to my head and made me pick the opening touchdown, I would also give that to Kelce. But I don't like betting that because that ruins things right away. I mean, you like to at least have a chance throughout, at least to the second half before you realize it's not going to happen for you with these parlays.
Sure.
So but I do like overall 2 touchdowns for Travis Kelce. I went 2 touchdowns too for a player on the other side of the ball. Amon-Ra St. Brown getting at least 2 touchdowns for his season opener. I think he is going to have a breakout year. I know he was good last year, but he's going to prove to be one of the, I think, I like a top 5 receiver in the NFL this year.
I think that's fair.
One bold prediction, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, he's already in the top 10 in my mind. So him making that jump to the top 5, I could totally see, man. I was on him early last year, if you recall. Just watching him play, he's fast. He's got great hands. He runs great routes. I'm a big Amon-Ra St. Brown fan. So yeah, I mean, that one is obviously a bit more of a long shot than the others, but I love it. Why not? They're going to be playing from behind, I imagine. So they're going to have to be throwing the ball around.
Well, as I sit here and pull up this bet, because it of course logged me out, but here we go. So with those 6 picks in place, that's the Brash pick 6 for you.
Yep.
That brought us to a total odds of plus 27,569. $6 bet, as is tradition here at Brash Sports, would pay out $1,660.19. So
wow,
that's a hefty one. But again, you got to make it worthwhile,
dude. Starting the year off with a bang.
Let's do it.
I love that, man. Starting the year off with a bang, and none of those are really unrealistic. I like every single bet.
Yeah, no, it's not that crazy.
No. I mean, anytime you bet on any football player to have 2 touchdowns, it's kind of crazy. And to have 2 guys with 2 touchdowns in the same game is kind of crazy. But I can already visualize the game in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it happening.
I can see it too.
So let's fucking go. Let's get that cash.
Let's get it. Get that money. That's what we do. So it's a whole new season.
It is.
All right. Well, you know what it's time for?
Oh, I know.
Only way to see this season premiere off is to end it with a little Brash official world rankings. All right. So the Brash official world rankings for our season 3 premiere, we are going to talk about the top 5 best things about the season that is fall. Or sometimes
can we take a minute to recognize just how much better our graphics have gotten since our entire team went on strike?
We are noticing things that were being missed previously with our whole Brash team. So again,
what were we paying them for?
It was a complete waste. It's money that can be saved and put towards more winning parlays. So
yes, agreed.
And of course, better graphics. So let's go ahead and get started with our top 5, starting with, of course, number 5. Josh, I'll let you kick things off for your number 5 slot. Best things about fall.
Well, there's a lot. Fall is my favorite season, but I had to put in number 5 something that is so iconic, something that you see and you just feel fall down in your balls. It's pumpkins. You see a pumpkin, you know it's fall. Pumpkin everything I fucking love. Pumpkin pie, pumpkin spice lattes, a pumpkin candle in a room, just filling your room with a beautiful pumpkin spice smell. I fucking love pumpkins, and it really makes it special because if pumpkins were in the summer, it just wouldn't feel right. You know what I mean? If someone handed me a slice of pumpkin pie like on the 4th of July, I'd lose my shit.
Smush it in their face.
That's what makes it a fall thing. You get it for 3 months a year. There's nothing better than a pumpkin pie. In the other 9 months, I couldn't imagine eating it. So it is an iconic fall thing. Pumpkins everywhere. I love seeing them. I love them. They're orange. They're fun. You can carve them up, carve faces into them. Dude, pumpkins fucking rule. It's too bad they're not higher, but there's just so many good things about fall. They're in my number 5 spot.
We did not compare notes going into this. just
Here
to
it
be
comes.
clear.
Here it comes.
We were sure that our top 5 would be fairly similar. Number 5, I wrote down a little thing called pumpkin stuff,
Yeah,
which of
pumpkin
course is
stuff.
everything pumpkin.
Yeah.
Everything from, the pumpkin itself, to
Oh, yeah.
just, again, everything pumpkin. I think the one thing you left out there that's highly underrated are pumpkin donuts and pumpkin donut
Oh, yeah.
bowls. Very good.
They are, man. Pumpkin everything. I haven't had a pumpkin thing that I didn't like. I don't know. I saw pumpkin salsa on sale once,
Yeah.
and that looked gross. I didn't want to try the pumpkin salsa, but everything, I've never had a pumpkin thing I didn't like.
I've had bad pumpkin beer, and I have.
True.
I'm out. I'm out on pumpkin flavoring for coffee. I mean, I haven't been
Really?
actually in on that since like high school, but yeah, it's
Oh,
just it doesn't do it
I'll
for me. I'm
still
I'm fine with just a regular dash of half and half in there.
I
But
will still destroy some pumpkin flavored coffee, like a pumpkin spice latte from fucking Starbucks.
yeah, see, too sweet for me.
So good, dude. So
But
good.
all right, so overwhelming number 5 slot goes to everything pumpkin. Number 4, Josh. Do you want me to get things kicked off for number
No, I
4?
got it. I got it.
Okay, all right,
I'm
all right.
I'm hoping that our lists are exactly the same.
That
For number 4,
that
I
would be
went
good.
with a little holiday called Halloween. Now,
Ooh.
Halloween, if you were asking 10-year-old Josh in a podcast, why it'd be weird that you were interviewing a 10-year-old, but he would have had Halloween at number 1. Now, as an adult, Halloween's very different for me, but I still get a kick out of it. It's still fun. I'm not a huge scary movie guy, but around Halloween, it's fun to watch them. Now that I have a daughter, we go out trick or treating with her, and I see the joy on her face, the joy it brings her. People just handing out candy for no reason other than you get to dress up like someone that you think is cool. It's fucking awesome, man. What a great concept. What a great holiday. And it's just one of my favorite things about fall. So that is in the number 4 spot, Halloween.
Okay. All right. Well, here we go. Things are already changing a little bit here
Ooh.
because my number 4 my number 4 spot is actually where I put sports.
Ooh.
That's right. I put sports
Wow.
at number 4. Majority of that, of course, being NFL football. But it's everything. I mean, that's when you have the NBA season begin. I believe you have the NHL season begin in fall,
Yeah,
right?
technically.
Yeah,
November.
and I still, of course, have my English Premier League football to watch. You do eventually have the World Series playoffs, which is, if you're going to watch baseball, that's the
That
time
is
to
the
start
time.
watching right there. The Fall Classic, as they call it. So I just number 4 sports in general and during this season are at their absolute peak. So that made my number 4
No, I
slot.
like it, man. I like it, and I won't give any spoilers, but that's a good spot for it. In my
Mhm.
number 3 spot, I've got another holiday. It's probably my favorite holiday, and it's Thanksgiving. I fucking love Thanksgiving, man. There's nothing better than Thanksgiving. In my opinion, it's better than Christmas. There's no expectations, no gift giving. Everyone's just getting together, hanging out, and eating delicious food. Um, Thanksgiving, man, it is just the best fucking holiday. I love it every single year. I look forward to it. It's fun. You get to hang out with your friends and family, and football's on, and you're just getting fat, and nobody's judging you for going back for a third plate, and everything's covered in gravy. It's fucking awesome, especially as a fat guy. Nothing beats Thanksgiving, man. So that's in my number 3 spot.
We are right back on track. Number 3, I have Thanksgiving as well.
Boom.
It is slowly, if not officially, becoming or is my favorite season. I love Thanksgiving more and more every year. Of course, you got the food, you got the family, you got the football, you got the
The
3
3
F's,
Fs,
Josh.
yeah.
And yeah, who doesn't like a good Thanksgiving? It always puts you in such a good mood. So, not really much more detail there. Any true American knows what Thanksgiving is all about. So,
Yeah.
give me Thanksgiving at the solid number 3 spot.
Yes.
Number 2,
Thank you,
Josh.
Pilgrims.
Not the Indians.
No, we don't give them any credit. No, not on this
God.
podcast.
Now, let's move on before we get
Yeah.
canceled during our season 3 premiere.
Number 2 is probably the most important aspect of fall, the thing that truly makes fall great. You know what's coming. It
I
is
do. This is insane.
hoodie weather. It is weather
Dude.
where it's just chilly enough to where you got to go, I need some long sleeves now. I need to put some jeans on instead of shorts. We're talking like high 50s to low 70s, nice chill in the air. It's perfect. You're not sweating profusely as soon as you walk out of the house. The bugs are subsided. You're not it's constantly swatting away gnats and mosquitoes and shit. Dude, hoodie weather is the best weather. It dominates every other season's weather by a fucking mile. The weather of fall is the best reason, or the number one reason why fall is the best. So, oddly enough, it's in my 2 spot. I just said it was the reason why everything's the best, but hoodie weather is the
Yeah.
best weather, no doubt about it. And hoodies are great because you can put them on. It hides all the fatness from Thanksgiving. You feel skinny. You feel confident in a hoodie. There's just nothing better, man. That's cozy and nice. And god damn it, I can't fucking wait. I'm sick of sweating my balls off every day out here. So give me some hoodie weather in the number 2 spot.
Yeah, it looks like I already know what your number one is, obviously, but we just swapped places for the same exact thing. We had the same top five, I already know, but now I know. And weather is my number two.
Oh,
Of course. I mean, yeah, you just got that crisp, cool air. You can leave all the windows open.
oh,
You sleep better when you're breathing in that fresh air. You
windows
don't have to
open.
worry about the fucking bugs.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, the weather, and it just looks nice, everything, it
Yeah.
just makes everything look so fucking nice, especially I suppose where we live. That's probably not all over the place, but yeah, good old weather. I guess we didn't say fall foliage, but I'd say that falls into the same
Hey,
type
man,
of
there's
thing.
time for honorable mentions, okay? Alright.
Oh yeah, I didn't do
Oh, you
that. I
didn't?
didn't
I
do
have a
that.
few down.
I, oh no, okay. So yeah, you pretty much covered it, but we both have the same number 5, 3, and 2, and 2 is weather.
And yeah, I think we just swapped our number 4 and number 1 because my number 1 is
We did.
sports. It's
Yeah,
sports. It's the
yeah.
best.
Not much.
It's the best. I mean, you I'm not gonna dig into it too much because you already covered it, but yeah, when baseball's at its best, it's in fall. Football's starting, basketball's starting, hockey's starting. Everything just feels better. You can feel it in the air. Sports are back, football's back. I could just talk about it all fucking day, and I won't. But that's the number one reason why fall is the best. The best thing about fall, all of the sports, dude. Give me
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah, I guess when I was putting my ranking together this time, I was thinking of what could I do without,
Oh,
like in terms of, and that's how I ranked
sure.
them. And, Thanksgiving and weather have to be over the sports for me.
Okay.
Number one is it's like a two-parter, but it's the same thing. It's Halloween season,
Mm,
also known as the month of October.
right.
The month of October, everything's just freaking
Yeah.
awesome. Um, October is fall,
Yeah.
and the Halloween season is just such a cool time. I know you're not a huge horror movie guy, but I am. I love that stuff. I love it year round, but it really dive deep into it in October. I mean, just every single day you're watching something creepy on TV.
Yeah.
And it all, of course, leads up to Halloween, and it's just, you got Devil's Night, you got Halloween night, and then again, just the whole feeling that October gives you and the Halloween season. There's just nothing like it, man. And even though, of course, I don't celebrate Halloween like I did when I was a kid, I still appreciate it. And it has that nostalgic feeling that always kind of brings you back to when you were a kid and you saw it differently and enjoyed it differently. So, that's really my number one right there is Halloween season / October.
Yeah. October is the best month. I don't think there's any debate about that. So
No.
Yeah, I have no qualms with that at all. These 5 are all pretty much interchangeable. I can't live without any of these. Well, I could live without some pumpkin spice lattes in my life, I suppose.
There you
But
go. Yeah.
dude, these 5 things are just the fucking best. I cannot wait for fall to begin.
So what were your honorable mentions real quick, and then we'll get the fuck out of here.
Oh, honorable mentions. I've got campfires, which
Mm,
could have made the top
there you
5. I
go.
fucking love a
There
good
you go.
campfire.
Yeah.
Foliage is on there.
Ah.
I put enjoying hot drinks outside. And I mostly put that because this morning I took my coffee outside when there was a slight chill and it was just fucking great. You can't do that when it's 90 degrees. You cannot drink hot coffee outside when it's 90 fucking degrees. And then
Mhm.
lastly, I have apples. Apples remind me of fall, but
Oh,
you would enjoy an apple year round, but it just feels different in the fall.
all
Like an
right.
apple cider too. Fuck, I fuck with some apple
Yeah,
cider.
apple
God
cider. There
damn.
you go. That's a good one. That's a good one because that's like this is like the only, well, almost fall's not officially here yet, but fall is like the only time I'll dabble with a little apple cider.
Oh, so good.
Um, all types of ciders, by the way. There's other ciders out there. Ever had peach cider?
All right, that's it.
I
Shut
know.
it down. We're
All right.
canceling this podcast.
On that note, we are getting the who is that guy? Wait a second. Who's in the studio giving
We
us
fired
the message?
everybody. Who is that?
No, that guy's not supposed to be here. We have to go. We got to get that guy out of the studio. Everyone's on strike. Nobody should be here but us. So
It's just a random person
let's
telling us to wrap up. That's fucking crazy. Fuck. All
we're
right.
gonna call it. We will be back for our Pick'em Pandemonium right after the NFL kickoff. We'll go ahead and run through the rest of the slate for week 1, make our predictions, and we'll throw another Brash parlay in there. You betcha.
Oh
So
yeah.
thanks to everyone for listening, watching, whatever, enjoying Brash Sports, and we will see you in a week's time. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Brandon.
Later, buddy.
Peace.